It takes just one moment, a thoughtless comment, an ill-timed response, to destroy a once glorious career. Today, we dive into the turbulent world of interviews that cost celebrities everything. Shocking statements, overconfidence, or brutally honest confessions.
Bush was caught on tape having a vulgar conversation with Trump about women before a 2005 Access
Hollywood's most unforgettable missteps? Let's dive in. In 2013, Belle Gibson was a rising star in the health and wellness industry. Her app, The Whole Pantry, became a massive hit. Her cookbook sold out, and she was celebrated for her inspiring story of beating cancer through holistic living. But by 2015, doubts surfaced, and then came the shocking truth. Belle Gibson had never had cancer. Worse still, the donations she had promised to charity never reached their destinations. Under immense public scrutiny, Gibson confessed to Australian Women's Weekly that she had fabricated the entire story, blaming it on a troubled childhood. But her apology did little to repair the damage. Overnight, her career collapsed. In 2017, she was fined $410,000 for fraud. When asked why she never realized she wasn't actually sick, she gave a response as shocking as the lie itself. "I didn't get any signals from my body." From a celebrated role model to a cautionary tale, Belle Gibson's story serves as a reminder that the truth will always come out, no matter how many layers of glamour try to hide it. In 2005, Tom Cruise entered a turbulent phase in his career, one he likely wishes he could erase from memory. It all started with an infamous moment on The Oprah Winfrey Show, where Cruise suddenly jumped on the couch with inexplicable excitement. The clip quickly became one of television's most memorable moments, but not in the way he intended. Cruise further stirred controversy by criticizing actress Brooke Shields for using antidepressants to cope with postpartum depression. His remarks sparked backlash, especially when he defended his anti-psychiatry stance in a tense interview with Matt Lauer on Today. With a condescending tone and extreme views, Cruise not only alienated audiences, but also tarnished his image in the entertainment industry. The fallout was swift. In 2006, Paramount Pictures, his longtime partner of 14 years, severed ties with him. Even Steven Spielberg, who had worked with Cruise on War of the Worlds, publicly criticized his behavior. Cruise's future in Hollywood seemed uncertain. But Cruise wasn't one to be easily defeated. He refocused on his career, steadily regaining public and industry trust through high-profile projects like the Mission Impossible series. The pinnacle of his redemption came in 2023, when he and Spielberg reconciled, proving that time and effort can heal even the deepest fractures. Cruise's journey is not just a story of downfall and redemption, but a testament to perseverance in Hollywood's ever-changing landscape. In 2009, Joaquin Phoenix, now a Hollywood legend and multiple Oscar winner, was at the height of his career but also at the center of controversy. It all started with a bizarre appearance on The Late Show with David Letterman. Wearing dark sunglasses, sporting a thick beard, and looking utterly disoriented, Phoenix walked onto the set as if he had just wandered out of an isolated retreat. The interview quickly turned into a disaster as he mumbled incoherent responses. David Letterman, known for his sharp wit, joked, "Can you tell us about your time with the Unabomber?" The audience laughed, but Hollywood didn't. Rumors of Phoenix's downfall spread rapidly, and it seemed like the industry was turning its back on him. Then came the shocking revelation. It was all part of a mockumentary, I'm Still Here. But the damage was real, his reputation suffered, and producers hesitated to work with him. Fortunately, Phoenix did what only the greatest talents can. He made a triumphant comeback. With stunning performances in Her and Joker, he not only returned but solidified his status as an icon. When he reappeared on The Late Show, Letterman quipped, "We couldn't wait to have you back." And indeed, the world couldn't either. Piers Morgan is one of television's most controversial figures, with a career full of highs and lows. The most dramatic downturn came in 2014 when his tenure at CNN ended in disgrace. The reason wasn't just declining ratings. It was also a series of on-air blunders. One of the most infamous moments was his heated exchange with comedian Chelsea Handler. During the interview, Handler didn't hold back. "You can't even pay attention for 60 seconds, she snapped. Morgan, trying to defend himself, blamed the guest for not being interesting enough. Handler immediately fired back. "This is your show. You have to pay attention to your guests." The fallout from moments like these contributed to Morgan's CNN downfall. Once his contract ended, he was forced to exit. Returning to the UK, he took on the role of host for Good Morning Britain, but his comeback was anything but smooth. In 2021, Morgan ignited another storm by openly criticizing Meghan Markle's comments about her mental health. The controversy escalated when co-host Alex Beresford strongly rebuked him on air. Unable to handle the pushback, Morgan stormed off set in anger and soon after announced his resignation. Morgan's impulsive behavior and rigid stance have made him a target for criticism, serving as a cautionary tale of how quickly a reputation can crumble when empathy and tact are lacking. Liam Neeson, the Irish actor best known for his action hero roles in the Taken series, shocked the public when he shared a dark chapter from his past. During a promotional interview, Neeson revealed that years ago, after learning a close friend had been sexually assaulted by a black man, he had roamed the streets with the intent of harming any black man he encountered. Neeson admitted that he quickly realized his thoughts were wrong and felt deep shame. However, his candid confession ignited a firestorm on social media. Many labeled him a racist, while others, including Trevor Noah and Whoopi Goldberg, defended him, arguing that confronting past mistakes and expressing remorse should be encouraged rather than condemned. While Neeson's career didn't collapse entirely, his public image took a significant hit. The tough guy persona he built through Taken was now overshadowed by controversy. In an industry increasingly focused on diversity, rebuilding his reputation became a formidable challenge. Once regarded as one of the most talented musicians of his generation, John Mayer's career took a nosedive in 2010 after a disastrous Playboy interview. Attempting to be provocative, Mayer made insensitive remarks about his past relationships with Jessica Simpson and Jennifer Aniston, but his most shocking misstep was comparing his genitalia to David Duke, the white supremacist leader. The backlash was immediate and severe. Accused of racism, Mayer quickly apologized on social media and in follow-up interviews, but the damage was done. Since then, his career has never fully recovered. Since 2010, Mayer hasn't had a single track break into the top 25 Billboard charts, and even his collaboration with Taylor Swift wasn't enough to revive his career. His downfall serves as a reminder that sometimes reckless words can undo years of success. Perhaps next time, Mayer should stick to what he does best: music. Chris Harrison was the face of The Bachelor for 19 years, but in 2021, his career collapsed in a single unfortunate moment. His downfall stemmed from a critical mistake during an interview with former Bachelorette Rachel Lindsay on Extra. The controversy began when Harrison defended Rachel Kirkconnell, a Bachelor contestant, after old photos surfaced of her attending a plantation-themed college party and liking racially insensitive social media posts. Instead of acknowledging the severity of the issue, Harrison downplayed it, insisting that the photos weren't a big deal in 2018. He even expressed disdain for the anti-racism movement. It was a disastrous move. The backlash from the public and media was swift and unforgiving. Rachel Lindsay, displeased with Harrison's stance, stepped away from the show. Just months later, Harrison was fired from his role as the Bachelor host. Although the show continued without him, his reputation in the television industry was permanently stained. Harrison's story serves as a harsh reminder that defending controversial behavior, especially when it involves race, can lead to severe consequences. It's not just about losing a career, it's about losing the trust of the public and fans. Paula Deen was once a beloved symbol of Southern cuisine, known for her warm hospitality and indulgent dishes on Paula's Best Dishes. However, in 2013, her career unraveled when a lawsuit exposed shocking details about her past. Deen was accused of using racial slurs and even discussing plans for a plantation-themed wedding, an idea that was highly controversial given the social climate at the time. The public backlash forced Deen to appear on Today's Show to address the scandal. But instead of showing genuine remorse, Deen positioned herself as a victim, criticizing those who condemned her and insisting that everyone makes mistakes. Her apology lacked sincerity, failing to heal the damage. A follow-up apology video did little to salvage the situation. The consequences were immediate. Major brands swiftly severed ties with Deen, sending her into obscurity. She lost the support of both fans and corporate sponsors, stripping her culinary empire of its former glory. The lesson from Deen's downfall is clear. If you're going to apologize, make sure it's from the heart. A lack of sincerity only makes things worse. While Deen was a master of Southern cooking, admitting mistakes was a challenge she simply couldn't overcome. In 2003, Michael Jackson sat down with Martin Bashir. Michael Jackson sat down with Martin Bashir for the documentary Living with Michael Jackson. The film was expected to provide fans with an intimate look into the life of the king of pop. However, what it unleashed was a media storm no one could have predicted. While Jackson bravely opened up about his painful childhood and the abuse he suffered at the hands of his father, it was his comments about his relationships with children that truly shocked the public. He admitted to allowing children to sleep in his bedroom overnight, but insisted that nothing inappropriate ever took place. When asked whether he understood why people found this concerning, Jackson simply stated that it was due to their lack of understanding. The backlash from the public and media was swift and severe. This interview set the stage for the infamous 2004 to 2005 trial, where Jackson faced serious criminal charges. Although he was acquitted, his reputation was irreparably damaged. The prolonged legal battles also inflicted significant financial losses, fueling even more controversy around his life until his passing in 2009. The lesson from Jackson's story is that sometimes sharing too much about one's personal life does not always lead to empathy. It can instead provoke even more questions and scrutiny. In Jackson's case, it not only raised doubts about his own life, but also challenged society's understanding of things that defy conventional expectations. Lance Armstrong's 2013 interview with Oprah Winfrey remains one of the most shocking and defining moments in sports history. Once hailed as a symbol of resilience and strength, Armstrong stunned the world when he finally admitted to using performance-enhancing drugs throughout his cycling career. For years, Armstrong vehemently denied all allegations, portraying himself as a clean and rightful champion. However, as suspicions grew regarding his dominance in the sport, the truth eventually unraveled. When Oprah posed the simple question, "Did you ever use banned substances to enhance your performance?" Armstrong had nowhere left to run. Not only did he confess to doping, but he also admitted that it had been a consistent part of his career. However, he denied coercing teammates into the practice or bribing officials to cover up test results. The fallout from this interview was swift and brutal, Major sponsors like Nike immediately severed ties with him, costing him millions of dollars, and permanently destroying his once pristine reputation. The legacy he had built was shattered. He went from a celebrated hero to a disgraced figure. His career never recovered, and the Oprah interview forever altered the course of his life. The lesson from Armstrong's downfall is clear. The truth can be painful, and once exposed, there is no turning back. In 2005, Billy Bush had no idea that one careless moment would derail his entire career. And the worst part? It didn't even happen on live television. A leaked recording of a conversation between Bush and Donald Trump, captured before they entered a television set, quickly became one of the biggest scandals in broadcast history. Neither of them realized their microphones were still on as they casually discussed women. Trump boasted about his approach, saying, "When you're a star, you can do anything. They let you." The conversation then shifted to Days of Our Lives actress Ariane Zucker, whom they were about to meet on set. No one could have predicted the massive public backlash that followed. Billy Bush was immediately suspended from the Today Show and ultimately forced to resign. The recording haunted him indefinitely, turning him from a rising TV personality into a cautionary tale of media scandal. In later interviews, Bush had no choice but to own up to his mistake. "I get it. I agree. I feel the same way." The lesson? Always check your mic before saying anything, because one careless comment can destroy a career built over decades. Getting interviewed by Rolling Stone is a big deal for any band. But in 2015, Australian pop-punk group 5 Seconds of Summer turned that golden opportunity into a PR disaster. Instead of showing humility, they compared themselves to the Beatles, openly criticized the American Music Awards, Justin Bieber, and even their predominantly female fan base, the very people who helped launch their careers. Things got even worse when they posed nude for Rolling Stone's cover. What was meant to be a bold statement ended up feeling unnecessary and desperate. Instead of proving they were serious rock stars, they only left fans puzzled. Their arrogant comments and over-the-top image shift alienated the audience that once adored them. While 5 Seconds of Summer wanted to showcase their rock and roll side, they went too far, leaving the impression of self-absorbed stars rather than authentic musicians. Paula Abdul was once one of American Idol's most beloved judges, but a 2007 interview changed how the public viewed her forever. While promoting the new season of American Idol, what was meant to be a standard interview quickly became a train wreck. Instead of charming viewers with her wit and charisma, Paula became the subject of confusion. Her responses were scattered, she giggled at odd moments, and her overly relaxed demeanor raised eyebrows. Fans immediately speculated that she may have had a few drinks, or possibly something stronger, before the interview. Although Paula denied the accusations, the damage was done. The moment became even more infamous when she made a bizarre comment about Seattle. "They are the most delusional people." That one line spread like wildfire, cementing itself as part of her legacy. 2 years later, Paula left American Idol after a salary dispute and gradually faded from the spotlight. But thanks to her unforgettable 2007 interview, she will always be remembered for more than just her Idol days. In the music industry, a rebellious persona can sometimes help define an artist's image. But in 2016, the Chainsmokers took things too far during an interview with Billboard. At the peak of their career, with multiple chart-topping hits, they had the perfect chance to solidify their reputation. Instead, they shocked the public by bragging about their wild partying and casual relationships, even though both members had girlfriends at the time. Their reckless statements immediately drew backlash, especially from female fans. Many accused them of being shallow, disrespectful to women, and completely oblivious to the responsibility that comes with fame. Faced with criticism, the Chainsmokers tried to defend themselves, saying they were just regular guys who love life, women, and everything that comes with it. But instead of calming the outrage, their response only made things worse. The free-spirited image they aimed to project came off as cliché and tone-deaf. In the end, rather than gaining positive attention, their words became proof of their recklessness, a costly lesson in public relations. Prince Andrew's infamous 2019 interview with Emily Maitlis on BBC became one of the worst moments in the Duke of York's career. The interview was initially meant to clarify questions about his relationship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. However, instead of providing clarity, Andrew's responses only fueled more confusion and suspicion. One of the most shocking moments came when he vehemently denied ever meeting his accuser, Virginia Roberts, despite clear evidence, including a widely circulated photograph of them together. When asked about his ties to Epstein, rather than expressing regret, Andrew claimed that the association had actually been useful to him. The response left many stunned. His bizarre excuses and lack of awareness made it increasingly difficult for the interviewer to maintain a neutral stance. Public sentiment quickly shifted from curiosity to outright condemnation. The fallout was immediate. Prince Andrew stepped back from royal duties and faced a life of public disgrace, with his reputation permanently tarnished. In the eyes of many, the interview was not only a failure to handle public scrutiny, but also a catastrophic attempt to repair his image. Katherine Heigl was once one of Hollywood's brightest rising stars, but a 2008 Vanity Fair interview changed everything. In the interview, Heigl openly criticized the hit comedy Knocked Up, calling it sexist and condemning its portrayal of women. This was especially shocking considering she had signed onto the film knowing its tone from the start. The backlash was swift. Many saw Heigl's comments as ungrateful toward a film that had played a major role in her career success. But the controversy didn't end there. Just a year later, she starred in The Ugly Truth, a romantic comedy that was widely criticized for its own sexist undertones. Her outspoken nature and contradictory actions made Hollywood directors and producers hesitant to work with her. Heigl's reputation took a major hit, and her career never regained the momentum she had during her Grey's Anatomy days. From then on, her name became synonymous with being difficult, demanding, and controversial. Megan Fox was once one of Hollywood's most promising young stars, but a 2009 interview with Wonderland magazine abruptly stalled her career. In the interview, Fox compared Transformers director Michael Bay to Adolf Hitler, referring to his harsh and demanding work style. Although she didn't mean to call Bay an actual dictator, the comparison sparked an immediate backlash. The consequences were swift. Fox was fired from the Transformers franchise. While Michael Bay himself didn't push for her removal, producer Steven Spielberg reportedly insisted on it. It was a devastating blow for Fox, as she was one of the most sought-after actresses in Hollywood at the time. Though she later reunited with Bay for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, her career never fully recovered. Major roles became scarce, and she gradually faded from the spotlight. That infamous interview taught Fox a hard lesson. Sometimes bold statements come with heavy consequences. If she could turn back time, she might have chosen her words more carefully rather than making such a risky comparison. Charlie Sheen stunned the world when he revealed his HIV diagnosis in a 2015 interview on The Today Show. For many, it was a courageous moment. Known for his wild antics, Sheen appeared calm, honest, and accepting of his health condition. The interview completely changed the public's perception of Sheen. He went from a reckless troublemaker to a vulnerable and honest man. However, his confession also sparked controversy. He was criticized for keeping his diagnosis a secret for 4 years, raising concerns about whether he had put his partners at risk. When asked if he had engaged in unprotected sex after being diagnosed, Sheen admitted he had, but insisted that all his partners had been fully informed and received medical care. Some viewed this as a moment of accountability, while others saw it as further proof of his irresponsibility and recklessness, given his chaotic past. In the end, this interview was more than just a health revelation. It was another chapter in Sheen's tumultuous career, one that had seen dizzying highs and catastrophic lows, ultimately marred by scandal and personal struggles. In the early 2000s, R. Kelly was at the center of serious allegations, yet he managed to avoid legal consequences when he was acquitted in 2008. However, that same year, an interview brought him back into the spotlight, and not in the way he had hoped. When asked about allegations regarding inappropriate relationships with underage girls, R. Kelly delivered a response so shocking that it left both the interviewer and audience stunned. He awkwardly replied, "When you say teenage, how old are we talking?" That moment instantly became one of the worst responses in television history. Instead of dispelling doubts, it only made his situation worse, making it nearly impossible for him to evade scrutiny any longer. His answer not only raised serious ethical concerns, but also sent his public image into a downward spiral. R. Kelly quickly went from a music superstar to one of the most despised figures in entertainment. His career never recovered, and this interview became a defining moment that led many to question whether they could still separate his music from his actions. Sometimes, in situations, this sensitive silence might be the wiser choice. But for Kelly, this interview marked the beginning of a long and disgraceful downfall. These interviews prove that one wrong statement can end a career. From Prince Andrew to R. Kelly, Megan Fox to Charlie Sheen, each case is a lesson in how words have lasting consequences. Hollywood may offer fame, but it's also full of traps. An interview can save a reputation or destroy it. Sometimes, silence is the smartest move. Who had the worst interview disaster? Do they deserve redemption? Share your thoughts, like, and subscribe for more.